Hi, good day. So we now move on to the social work 132, or the Filipino personality and social work. It's already on our week 8. So our main proponent for today is the trait paradigm. Okay? So particularly, specifically Gordon Allport, the psychology of individuals. The theory of Alport is known as the trait theory because it emphasizes the nature and evolution of personality traits. Now, his theory is also called the psychology of individuals kasi it's more focused on the traits ng isang tao because it is stressed on the uniqueness of a person talaga. Okay? And the view of human nature of Alport was certain that motivation is always a contemporary process. An individual's current self-image is far more important ngayon, okay? Current po, hindi po yung past, than whatever he or she has been in the past, except in pathological cases, kasi nga nakaka-trigger din yan, no? No central motive, even for abnormal personality, is ever totally independent of the contemporary ego structure. Hindi po lahat nakabase po sa ego. Okay? Sa trait din po yan, no? The most withdrawn catatonic will speak upon recovery of event to which he or she was unable to do so during the deficit state of her catatonic situation. Ang structure po ng personality according to Allport defined and developed the concept of individual traits, meaning the uniqueness, individuality. Later named personal disposition, mga disposition natin personally. He divided it into 3 kinds according its scope and importance to the individual. We have here the cardinal disposition, meaning the traits that dominate. Ano yung trait or uniqueness sa'yo nag-dominate? Dominate the personality, influencing almost everything the person does. Okay? It is a disposition for which a person is known. Dito ka nakikilala. And kung tatanungin kita ngayon, ano yung cardinal disposition mo? It's the dominant trait na nakikilala ka ng ibang tao. Ito yung naiiba talaga sa kanya. Okay? That's your cardinal disposition. And the next one is the central disposition, the characteristic of a person which typifies his or her behavior. Okay? Ano yung behavior niya? Okay? And each person has few central traits, usually having 5 or 10 qualities. Depende po yan. Meaning, behavior. How we behave. Okay? So, the third one is the secondary disposition, responses to particular stimuli. So, kung meron pong stimuli, it's more on about the situation. Kung merong situation na nangyayari sa'yo or something that happened, ano yung response mo dyan? Okay, yan yung secondary disposition. Meaning, kung merong situation and you act that way because of that situation, yan yung secondary disposition mo, okay? Which may occur on rare occasions, okay? These are not considered important disposition. It's example, habit, interest, or preferences. We have here the traits or the 8 criteria of traits according to Allport. Have more than nominal existence. Dapat merong have more than nominal existence. Are more generalized than habits. No, yan po yung traits, yung kaibahan niya sa habit. Are dynamic and at least determinable. The thing that determines. Can be established empirically or statistically. Kung ano po yung nakikita at nakakount. Okay? Are only relative independent to each other. Are not the same as moral quality. And so on, okay? And for Allport, there are elements in trait that can be used as accurate and meaningful units of study per personality. These are the following, no? Ito po yun, no? Traits have the capacity to motivate, inhibit, and select appropriate human behavior. A trait is a combination of motive and habits. Okay, tignan po natin yan. Okay, yan po yung meaning. Mutually interdependent traits are main elements in behavior. Okay? Kung ano po yung nakaka-interdependent, meaning nagkakakonekta, interdependent. Yan po yung main elements of a behavior. Okay? Hindi po siya secondary disposition. Okay? Trait helps explain the consistencies found in personality. Of course. Di ba nga kung ano yung trait mo, di ba yung habit, it's an enduring pattern. Traits are not directly observable but must be inferred. Traits are difficult to classify. A trait begins with neuropsychic system. 6 is there are individual traits and common traits. Individual traits are those possessed by a person. Sa'yo talaga yan, no? Common traits are those shared, no? Kumbaga, ano yung common sa lahat. Okay? Alport considered to add habits to individual trait. Traits is a combination of 2 more habits. Okay? Stylistic traits tell how one is to behave. Stylistic. Dynamic traits tells why one behave. Okay? Traits may be drive as well as direct. Okay? They may push as well as dictate the path. Traits have strong connotation of contemporaneity or state of being, nowness, ngayon of things. Okay? Alport used two approaches in studying personality. Idiographic method is the intensive study of simple case. This is strongly recommended by Allport. He felt that the only way to learn a person is to study that person. Okay? Nomathetic method is studying the group of individuals and analyzing it by group. Okay? So, he emphasized common traits or generalized meaning. Nalalaman natin yung trait dito by studying group, not just the individual or the person alone. The degree to which traits are independent of childish origins represents the measure of normality of a person. Okay, the degree of traits. Meaning, meron tayong mature and normal personality must met the following 6 criteria. Paano natin masasabi na yung trait ng isang tao is mature or normal personality? Self-extension, no, diversification of interest, warm mutual interaction, self-acceptance or emotional security, realistic perception, reality, looks at practical, self-objectification, no, having insight, and unifying principle of life. Okay? It's understandable naman po. And meron tayo ditong 10 possible units in the study of personality. First is the intellectual capacity. Kailangan talaga malaman natin yung intellectual capacity ng isang tao. Measuring, analyzing the intellectual ability of maybe someday be a fruitful approach. But at present, the field is not well developed. Meron tayo ditong, I think, IQ test or the like, pero hindi talaga siya basihan kasi ang dami na po kasi ngayong extremes of intelligence. Meron tayong emotional intelligence, meron ng spiritual. So, hindi pa siya talaga medyo accurate. Syndromes of temperament, no? This is the work of Sheldon, Thurston, Cattell, and Guilford, and others, no? And unconscious motives. This is more of the Freudian. No? Diba? Freud, it's more on, especially defense mechanism, no? It's more on unconscious motives. Social attitudes, no? And ideational schemata. Expressive traits, no? Stylistic traits, pathological trends, and factorial cluster. Okay? Attitudes and character can also be used in the study of personality, but it may present some complication as character involves judgment of moral right and wrong. So, ang hirap i-measure, okay? Paano natin malalaman na yung aspect na yan is tama kasi relative po yan eh. Yung sa iba baka tama yan sa atin, mali sa kanila. And attitude, a disposition to objective of value, involves an emotional response from a very narrow range of stimuli towards the object, okay? Functional autonomy, one of the idea. Functional autonomy represents the present go of interest and tendencies that initiates and sustain current behavior. The two types of functional autonomy, we have the preservative functional autonomy, or a closed or an almost closed system which continues primarily on its own power with little or no outside reinforcement. It is a self-sustaining circuit mechanism. Preservative. And propionate functional autonomy, an open system which presupposes that individual is constant bombarded with stimuli. Okay? Although both types are essential to motivation, propionate functional autonomy is more important because it is open system and personality is led to achieve progressively. Kasi nga open, hindi po yung closed system. Preservative functional autonomy gives consistency and coherence to personality, while proportionate functional autonomy causes one to respond appropriate to life's challenges in order to progressively produce greater achievements. Right processes that are not functionally autonomous. Biological drives, no? Hindi po ito autonomous. Reflex action, no? Constitutional equipment, habits. Primary reinforcement, infantilism and fixations, no? Some neuroses, those in which therapy by going backward, no, traces the original cause behavior to create a cure. Sublimation, no? And we have here the two methods in which functional autonomy can be created in a personality pattern. We have here the quasi-mechanical. Functional autonomy may emerge in gradual sense from stimulus-object response. Depends on the stimulus, okay? From the learning theory methods, okay? Propitiate, the self attempt to enhance itself. The self-images demand the continuation of the ego involvement. Learning principle, according to Allport. Alport found that learning is an important mode of motivation. Humans learn to do things and create personality because mechanical determinism, self-actualization, becoming something. Okay? Becoming, it means an advance toward your goal. Alport used the term proprium to mean main source of learning about the self and finding personality. Proprium is the aspect of personality which together make for seems singularly one's own. Proprium includes all the collected aspects of personality that are uniquely his or her own. These are what makes a person unique. Yan po yung proprium, okay? Kumbaga, yung proprium, ito po yung term ni Alport sa tinatawag natin personality. That's one of his, kumbaga, kung meron siyang isang term na other term sa personality, proprium po yun, okay? Personality development. Alport believes that at birth, an individual lacks the unique distinctiveness that will make up his personality. The formation of personality develops to growth and maturation. Totoo nga naman, no? Crucial to personality development is the role played by the function. So, sinali po niya dito yung role. This controversial principle states that although one set of circumstances may have originally explained the existence of a motive, the motive can exist in an adult independent to those earlier circumstances. Okay? So, the self which Alport termed as proprium or the personality, like was essential in the development of personality. It undergoes 7 stages, namely bodily sense or the awareness of bodily sensation, presophical system, 0 to 3 years old. The self or identity, the awareness of who I am, relationship with others in infancy. Next is the self-esteem, exploration of his or her world. The form of negativism. It is the fulfillment of the sense of pride. Next is the extension of self, 4 to 6 years old. The self-image. Nagkakamero na siya ng self-image. Awareness of social expectations sa sarili niya. Self as rational cooper and propitiate striving. Focus on life goals, okay? Ganon. The most important driving force of human beings is not the past but the person is doing at present. Kung ano po yung nagdadrive sa'yo ngayon, for his or her future. Kung ano po yung present na ginagawa mo for your future, okay? Alport ran counter to the generally accepted current practice of assuming that all behaviors have continuum basis. For him, many aspects of life are not on continuum. What he do is not always a matter of degree, but one with a difference in kind, okay? Alport found great differences among the dies of each human being. Alport suggested a continuity between child and adult motivation structure which creates in effect 2 theories of personality. We move on to the evaluation of the Alport's theory. Alport's theory is similar with the existential humanistic theory which states that human motives are merely biological in nature, human beings are future-oriented, and psychology should be socially relevant. Okay? He was criticized for being unscientific because of his adherence to nomothetic and ideographed approaches in studying personality and for assuming a continuity between animals and human beings, between child and adult. Summary po natin. The concept of functional autonomy made by Alport and the forerunner of existential humanistic theory. It emphasizes on the uniqueness of an individual, the belief that human motives are not merely biological in nature, but also future-oriented. He stressed the conscious awareness of an interaction rather than unconscious. So, kung ano yung conscious lang na awareness. Camproid kasi is more on unconscious. Alport believed that personality consists of biological as well as psychological structures, which he called personal disposition. Okay? He differentiates the personal disposition, the personhood, selfhood, proprium. Okay? Alport's concept of functional autonomy earned his reputation as humanist. Okay? The accuracy of this label is strengthened by its similarity of Maslow's self-actualization of growth-motivated persona. He combines humanism and trait theory in order to form personality. Alport was America's first personality theorist. He believed that meron din siyang 7 stage dito of proprium, okay, of development. Healthy human adults have the following characteristic, no? SWERSA as a abbreviation, no? Self-extension. Second is warm human interaction, emotional security and self-acceptance, realistic perception, self-objectification, and the unifying personality of life. Okay?